When Ms. Hana stepped into the classroom for the first time, the students didn't see a teacher, they saw a target. She wore plain clothes, her hair tied back in a loose bun, and carried a worn leather satchel that looked like it had seen better days. Her soft voice and polite smile made her seem fragile, and that was all the invitation the class bullies needed. They whispered to each other, grinned, and leaned back in their chairs, already planning their first move. It was 10th grade homeroom, a tough crowd. Ms. Hana was fresh out of teacher training, assigned to a school known for its challenging students. But no amount of warning could prepare her for the disrespect and cruelty she was about to face. The leader of the pack was Judo, tall for his age, cocky and aggressive. He didn't like rules, didn't like authority, and definitely didn't like being told what to do by someone he thought he could push around. His two sidekicks, Malik and Trevor, followed his every move like shadows. From the first minute, they interrupted her, made loud jokes, mocked her accent. She ignored them at first, trying to focus on attendance, but the whispers turned to laughter, the laughter to insults, and then Judo walked right up to her. "New here," he sneered. "Looks like we gotta teach you how things work around here." Before she could react, he reached for her satchel and tugged at it. "Let it go," she said softly. But he didn't. Instead, he grabbed her shirt collar and yanked. A loud rip echoed across the classroom. Gasps filled the room. For a moment, everything stood still. Ms. Hana looked down at her torn shirt. It wasn't just about fabric. It wasn't just humiliation. It was a line crossed, violently, publicly, and deliberately. Judo laughed. "You gonna cry now, miss?" But she didn't cry. She didn't scream. She didn't run. She breathed in. Slowly. Deeply. And then, with shocking speed and grace, she took a step forward, caught Judo's wrist, twisted, and flipped him over her hip. He hit the ground flat on his back, with a thud that shook the floor. The room erupted in stunned silence. Malik lunged forward in reflex, and Trevor followed, but in two clean, fluid motions, they too were on the ground, dazed and breathless, their arrogance shattered. 3 bodies on the floor. 1 woman standing tall. No rage, no gloating, just calm control. Ms. Hana adjusted her ripped shirt slightly and looked up at the class. "I didn't come here to fight, I came to teach," she said quietly, "but if anyone tries to hurt me or anyone else in this room, I will defend myself, and them." One girl in the back slowly started clapping, then another, and another. Within seconds, the entire class was applauding, not just because the bullies were taken down, but because for the first time, they felt safe. Ms. Hana walked over to Judo, who was still catching his breath. She knelt beside him gently and said, "You're better than this, I know you are, but you've been using fear to lead. That ends today. You want to lead, show strength by protecting others, not hurting them." He didn't say a word. His pride was bruised, but something else had broken too, the illusion that he was untouchable. The principal was called, and though rules were rules and the boys were sent to in-school suspension, the story spread like wildfire. Not just the takedown, but the grace, the strength, the message. Over the next few weeks, things changed. The students paid attention. They respected her. But more importantly, they trusted her. Ms. Hana started a self-defense class after school, not for fighting, but for confidence. Students who had been bullied before started joining. Even Judo came by one day, hanging near the door, watching in silence. She didn't call him out, she just gave him a nod. He nodded back. It was a beginning. Because behind every troublemaker is a story, pain, insecurity, a silent cry for help. Ms. Hana understood that. She didn't come to punish, she came to heal. Her strength wasn't in her fists, it was in her heart. And by the end of the semester, the class that once laughed at her now stood up when she entered the room, not out of fear, but respect. Her torn shirt was long gone, but it became a symbol of that day, the day a quiet woman showed what real power looked like. and the message she left behind. Kindness doesn't mean weakness, and sometimes the strongest voice is the one that stays calm when everything else is falling apart.